Welcome back, everyone, to Spirit Man Studios. Today we have two movie reviews in this episode. One is an indie film that was released over the weekend last week, and the other is a Netflix original movie. Now, I'm going to do the scores for these movies at the end of the video, to just give you my thoughts on both of them, and then to have the actual scores I'm going to give them at the end. So, let's begin with the first movie. Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman tells the story behind the creation of Wonder Woman. It follows Professor Marston, played by Luke Evans, and his wife, as they are college professors at Harvard who are working on a lie detector. And one day, a student in the class volunteers to be a research assistant for the project, and things get a little messy between all three of them. And further down the line, Professor Marston creates the iconic Wonder Woman that we know of today. Now, this movie has gotten a bit of a controversy from its descendants, Professor Marston's descendants, saying that the romance does not feel realistic, as it is overly sexualized from what was actually portrayed in real life. And I have to admit, I did feel like some of it was a bit too overly sexualized for what it needed to be. And that's kind of what I feel about it. This movie is actually kind of a decently made movie. This is written and directed by a first-time director, I believe, and I can't remember her name, but she does a pretty good job directing the actors. The acting actually felt really real to me. The characters' dynamics felt kind of real, at least. And the story behind the creation of the lie detector and Wonder Woman, they're really good. Although I do kind of feel that they both kind of... It kind of felt like two different episodes of like a mini-series. It felt like, hey, the first half we're going to focus on the lie detector, and then on the second half we're going to focus on the Wonder Woman story. But they kind of try to interweave the two stories with this interview in 1945 with the Comics Board. Which is a kind of a censorship board for anything that is deemed morally reprehensible. But even then, it's still, if you took out those scenes, it would just feel like two different episodes. The acting in this film, as I said before, pretty good. The dialogue felt very natural to me in most cases. It's shot kinda well, and on a technical level, it's passable, or watchable at least. But the thing that really took me out of the film for most of it is, the unrealisticness of some of these sort of sexual things. And look, I may not be the most efficient on the whole polyamorous type lifestyle, where you have three different people living in the same household and they all, have relations together. But to be honest, this is one of those films you'll either love it or you'll hate it, depending on what type of story you're really looking for. It's in my honest opinion that this movie is not really a best picture of the year material, like some people like to say, but it is a movie that was kind of interesting. It felt like a neat little companion piece to Wonder Woman this year. And, I mean, it's an interesting story. I just kind of feel that, I don't know. I don't really have the fullest opinion on this film. I've seen it once, and I probably wouldn't want to watch it again. There were parts where it kind of slogged just a bit, kind of between the second and third act. It just had this long, drawn-out sequence. And there were moments towards the end where it was like, you probably could have directed that scene better. Like, there's a scene where Luke Evans is like, hey, I'm dying, you gotta do this stuff. You probably could have done that better. You probably could have shown something, instead of rather just having characters just blatantly say it. But other than that, it's a decent movie to go watch. I mean, if you're not into the whole, multiple partners thing, in relationships, then you're probably not going to enjoy the relationships in the film. But it was genuinely enjoyable in certain aspects. There's my review. Off to the next movie. The Meyerowitz Stories is a Netflix original movie that stars Adam Sandler. Now, before you click off this video and assume that I'm going to be saying a lot of shit about Adam Sandler, because, Adam Sandler has been making really terrible movies for the longest time, I kind of want you to come in and, let me describe to you what this movie's about. The Meyerowitz Stories follows Adam Sandler as Mr. Meyerowitz. He is one of two brothers in the Meyerowitz family. His daughter is off to college for film school, who kind of gets a rough career in a very surprising direction that I didn't really think was going to happen. But it is also kind of the weakest part of the movie, but I'll get to that later. It also has Dustin Hoffman and Sigourney Weaver and the guy who plays the uncle in Independence Day, like Jeff Goldblum's friend. Like, I can't remember his name. Like, there's so many good, talented actors in this movie, and it could, like, from the look of it, like, as soon as I saw Adam Sandler's face on the little title card for Netflix, I'm like, oh, this movie's gonna be bad. They brought in some good actors. I felt so sorry for him. But once the movie started, I was surprised. Adam Sandler gives a pretty subdued performance. He doesn't do a lot of the whole, like, voices thing. He doesn't do that, oh, you have to go poo-poo, he doesn't do that voice. He felt like a mature adult. And this movie, while it has some comedic moments, it felt more like a family drama. Because during all of this, you have a storyline about the patriarch of the house, Dustin Hoffman, wanting to sell the house after so many years. That he wants to move away, he wants all this, and he's trying to consult with his kids, Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler, and it's a complicated thing, and it felt like a very realistic situation because my family has had some of those types of instances where people are wanting to sell a house or do something that no one knew about, without even bringing it up, and it felt like a very natural sort of family situation. And the parts of the movie that really shined were when Dustin Hoffman wasn't there, and people were taking the situation as seriously as possible. Like, it felt like a real situation. It didn't really get me though. There is a couple problems with the film I did find. There were certain moments where certain segments I wasn't really into, and just kind of like, again, the pace was a little bit slow in certain sequences. This movie's story structure is a bit weird, and it reminded me of an Irish film, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'll put a poster of it up if I can remember it. This movie is interesting. It's a very interesting film, and it has some genuine heart to it, and the acting is pretty well done for the most part. I like Dustin Hoffman's character, and I kind of like the ending a little bit. I actually liked Adam Sandler's character. He goes through a nice little emotional arc between him and his dad, and that was kind of nice. And Ben Stiller kind of helps with that little character progression. The only thing that kind of bothered me, and this is something that's kind of a nitpick, is the direction that Adam Sandler's daughter goes through with her film career. It's surprising, it definitely is, but I don't know. Parents, any normal parent would be like, oh my god, she's doing this? Like, I don't want to give it away, but probably by what I just said, you kind of already figure where it's going. Any normal parent would be like, why? Why did you do this? But these people are just kind of cool with it, which kind of surprised me, the little direction that they took. Does it make sense to me on a moral level? No, but it did kind of surprise me on a story level. So on the whole, I think the Meyerowitz Story is kind of an enjoyable watch. It's on Netflix right now, and I would definitely go check it out. So, for final review scores, I'm going to give Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman a B-, and the Meyerowitz Story on Netflix a B-. Yeah, both are kind of B-, but they're good movies. I do kind of suggest going to watch them. There is words of caution with both, but what can you know? So yeah, check back later this week. I'm going to be reviewing the new movie Lucky, starring Harry Dean Stanton, the late Harry Dean Stanton. And next week I'm reviewing The Florida Project, as well as a couple other films to get us into the feel for Halloween. One of the films may not be Halloween related, but it takes place during Halloween. And at the end of the month is my flashback Halloween special, where I review the Tower of Terror movie from Disney from 1997. It's a fun episode. I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed filming it and editing it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it and show up and watch it for Halloween. I'm definitely going to be reviewing Stranger Things Season 2 eventually. It will probably not be on October 31st. It'll probably be in November, because I'm going to take some time to do that. I have other projects as well that I'm working on, but I will be reviewing Stranger Things Season 2, no doubt about it. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.